Hey y'all, I'm back with another video, and this time we're talking about credit scores. If you're new to this channel, my name's Melissa, and here we talk about how to elevate ourselves financially and how to begin to handle our money in a smarter and more efficient way. So let's go ahead and get started. So for this video, I was thinking it could be helpful to explore what sorts of things help our credit scores, what sorts of things either stall or hurt our credit scores, and what sorts of things don't affect our credit scores. So I've compiled a list of questions. So I figured it could be like a quiz, and you can kind of figure out for yourself how knowledgeable you are with regard to credit scores. So we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing is having a low level of debt. Does that help? Does that stall or hurt? Or does that not affect your credit score? Having a low level of debt. That's the first one. Paying your rent on time. And I'll reveal the answers after I go through all of these. Making late payments. Your age. Falling behind on your taxes. Managing a revolving credit account. Using over 50% of your available credit. Having 0 to 3 years of managing credit and debt. Your marital status. Paying off credit card balances in full each month. Having debit and prepaid cards. Requesting a credit increase. A consistent payment history. Opening multiple credit accounts at the same time. Overdrafts to a bank account. High levels of debt. Using 30% or less of the credit you have available. Managing an installment credit account, like paying a preset amount each month, like for example, a car loan. Inquiring about your own credit score. Eviction due to being behind on rent payments. How much you make or your income / your bank balances. Having 5+ years of managing credit and debt. Your employment status. And then the last one is having accounts turned over to a collection service. So now we're going to see how you did. So here's the answer key to the questions that I just read out to you guys. So as you can see here, there are 3 boxes where the first box shows what helps your credit score, the second box shows what either stalls or hurts your credit score, and then this last box shows what does not affect your credit score at all. So I just wanted to show you this in a very neat and organized way, and then just kind of focus on some main points that I've written down as far as how you can help your credit score. This chart here does a really great job of displaying what sorts of things you should be avoiding and what sorts of things you should be implementing into your life if you aren't already. Okay y'all, so I really only have 5 main points that I want to go over as far as things that you should be doing to make sure you're helping to either increase your credit score or to maintain it if you already have a good credit score. So the first point that I have is to make your payments on time. I cannot tell you enough how much it'll hurt you if you do not make your credit card payments on time. First of all, let's talk about late fees. If you don't make your credit card payments on time, credit card fees will add up, and that money is just being added to your principal balance so that the next time that you make a payment, not only are you having to cover what you already owed, but now on top of that, you have to worry about late payment fees. And so you can just avoid that entirely by making your payments on time. The second point I have here is to keep your utilization low. So keeping it at 30% or less. So what does that mean? So essentially, as we spoke about earlier in the video, keeping utilization low is just keeping your usage low. So if a credit card gives you, per se, $1,000 to spend, you should only be using 30% of that or less on like a monthly basis. So for example, in 1 month, that card, you should have only spent $300 or less, so that you maintain the credit card companies are seeing, okay, this person is not utilizing all of the money that we're giving them. So, it just shows that, you're responsible, and also I think it shows that you're not like desperately needing all the money that they're providing you, because when you use close to 100% of what you're given, I think there's a high chance that you're probably not going to pay it back entirely. Maybe that's not true, but as a general rule, and what tends to help your credit score, is to just use 30% or less of what you have available. My third point is to use credit cards to your advantage. So I mentioned this in another video of mine, but essentially there are certain things, right, that we have to pay. And I love the example of a phone bill, right, because we all have phones. And so that's something that you have to pay for. And it happens on a monthly basis. You can use this required payment and put it on one of your credit cards. And in that way, you don't even have to think about it, because you can, schedule it to happen automatically. And in that way, you are earning points for this payment that's happening on a monthly basis that you have to pay for anyway. So you're racking points for something that you were going to pay for anyway. So I think for me, when I learned that I should do this, I just think it's a no-brainer. Like, you're getting points for something that you're going to pay for anyway. And then I'll also add some phone companies like mine, AT&T, once I set that up, I got deducted $10 from my phone bill because I set up auto pay. And so now I'm earning points for the card that I use, but also I got a discount from my phone carrier because I do auto pay. So really, it's just like a win-win situation here. So as much as you can, really just try to use your cards to your advantage in a way that is smart, in a way that makes sense for your lifestyle. The fourth point is to pay your credit card balances in full each month. So I 100% recommend everyone to do this if you can. I used to not be able to do this because your girl was struggling, but now that I'm not struggling as much, I pay off my credit cards in full every single month, so I don't have to worry about paying any interest or any late fees or anything like that. And also, I think the best part about paying off your credit cards in full each month is that it ensures that you're staying out of debt, because you have to pay with money that you actually have, right? And so in that way, you're not racking up debt, over months, because you're just making the minimum payment. So as much as you can, please pay off your credit cards in full every single month. It just ensures that you don't get into a cycle of debt, and also it ensures that you're living below your means, right? That you're actually staying within a quantity of spending that makes sense according to how much you're making, right? Because every month you have to have that money to pay off your cards in full, and so if you don't have the money to pay your cards off in full, that means that you're spending too much, because you don't have the money you need to pay them off entirely, if that makes sense. So as much as you can, pay your cards off in full every single month. And my last point, point number 5, is to request that credit limit increase once you've shown that you can be trusted. So essentially all I mean by that is, once you've shown a consistent payment history, you're showing credit card companies that you can be trusted for them to provide you with more money. And I think the great thing about this is that then your utilization is more flexible, because now you have more money to spend. And I want to make sure I'm being clear here. So a dramatic example, right? Previously we were using $1,000, but now let's say your credit gets increased to $10,000. I'm just doing easy math because I'm lazy. But 30% of $1,000, right, is $300, whereas 30% of $10,000 is $3,000. So you see how, you have the ability to spend more money and it's still looking fine, because you're still keeping your utilization low. And so I think, obviously it's great to get a credit limit increase, because then it just gives you more money to endeavor in whatever side hustles or businesses you might have. And just knowing that you have the ability to keep moving up, keep building your credit in that way, I think, is just really cool and will just give you more flexibility for, you know, whatever plans, businesses, or side hustles you might come up with in the future. And also, I'll add here, I mentioned this book in one of my previous videos, but the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. In case you're wondering, how do I even like tell a credit card company how to increase my credit limit? Like, how do I do that? He has a script in his book, word for word, what you should say. So I would definitely recommend people to check his book out because I think it's really helpful in providing like scripts as far as how to speak to credit card companies. And he also has some other great stuff in his book. And while we're on the topic of getting educated, I would also recommend watching Money Explained on Netflix. They have a whole episode on credit cards. I think it covers some things that I didn't cover in this video, and it's just great to continue to learn more on this topic. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll end the video including some actionable steps that you can take to begin to implement some of the things we talked about today in case you don't already have them in place. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you learned anything or found any of this information helpful, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment and let me know what you think, or if there's anything you'd like for me to discuss in future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.